Sessions
with Sarah Schultz.
Hi everybody, how are you? So this is episode 5 of Sunday Sessions with Sarah Schultz. I'm doing something a little bit different today. So I actually did have an episode ready, but I've been getting some inquiries from buyers this week regarding and sellers regarding what my thoughts are regards to auction. Now, I guess the first thing I want to say is I'm certainly not against auctions, because I do feel that auctions have a place in the market, and certainly the Sydney and Melbourne market, auctions go extremely well. For the areas that I sell in, which is where I've been getting those inquiries, I feel like it's not really the best option, and here are the reasons why. Okay, so the first thing that I personally don't like about auctions is the fact that a price can't be mentioned. So there's a certain element there where people invest interest. So auctions are cash, so that means that they have to be unconditional in order to bid. So you have to invest your money and do building and pest on a property, and potentially go to the day, get an auction registration, and potentially the property could be out of your price range. The other thing is that even if it does go for really low price, which I think I'll get onto that later, if it's not even in your price bracket, as in what you're looking to spend, you kind of sort of wasted your time. So that's one of the reasons I don't like it. The second reason I think I was just sort of touching on before is I just sort of feel like if the market has 5% of buyers that are cash, and you've got cash, just imagine yourself, if you've got cash to buy a house, are you going to go to an auction to pay the maximum amount for the property, or are you going to go to an auction and expect to get it for less? I mean, most people in general, when they have cash, you're expecting that because you're cash, you're an advantage to a seller. So you have a certain belief that you will get the house for a better price than someone with finance. And rightfully so, most of the time, conditions and terms can play a big part in purchasing a property, not just price. So bearing that in mind, yes, it's an unconditional contract, but you're actually only attracting 5% of the market instead of 100. Someone could be potentially subject to finance and be pre-approved and pay 10 or 20,000 more, but they can't bid in an auction. So in the areas that I sell, I feel that marketing with a price is definitely the best way. Price ranges and offers over, I feel, give the sellers opportunity to attract more and potentially get multiple offers. The other thing that is you can do, which is similar to auctions, but it's a little bit more appealing, is price to tender. So an auction gets a campaign for 3 or 4 weeks for a date where an auctioneer will come and sell your house under the hammer. Okay, and you can't say what the price is. Only 5% or whatever the percentage of the market is in your area that have cash can attend and actually bid. Any of the finance people can't. Yes, you can sell prior to auction. That is one thing. People can put an offer on prior to auction with finance if the sellers accept it. But again, they're basically, pulling a figure out from nowhere. They don't really know. They don't have the research to be able to see whether the property is worth that price, or if it's lower, or if it's higher, or anything, because they don't really have a price guide. Whereas with the price to tender, it's similar to an auction. There's not an auctioneer, but it's similar in the fact that you do a campaign for 3 or 4 weeks leading up to a tender date. And in that tender date, people submit their offers. Now, nobody sees what another person's offer is. So it's a little bit more like when you're in a multiple offer situation, you have to put your best offer first. So I feel sometimes that can actually attract quite a higher price for the property, because you can give a price guide, so they can get some sort of indication, and you can make that price range quite big, so that if there is people that are really interested in the property and they're going to put their best offer, the chances that you might get more for the house or above what your wish price is more likely, in my opinion, because it's also 100% of the market that can go. So yes, it wouldn't be cash, but you could do part of that multiple process is that when they're presented to you, you can vet every one of them. So an agent presenting you prices to tender could be subject A is subject to finance and they do not have pre-approval and they need 21 days for finance, but they're willing to pay $690 for your house. Subject 2 might be 14 days finance pre-approved, 14 days building and pest, but only $680. So you then have to decide, this is just an example, is $10,000 worth the risk that if Exhibit A doesn't go through, that you go back to square one, or do you accept, option B where you feel like the contract is going to go through? And there may even be an option C, which is a cash buyer that's $670 with no conditions and a short settlement. It's just examples, but that's how a multiple offer would come. It could be one or it could be 10 offers that are being presented to you depending on how the campaign went. Again, I think price to tender is also the same as an auction. There are certain houses in a certain place that I think auctions fit. I do think that the occasional unique house that you can't put a price on would fit the price to tender mold and or auction. But again, I definitely feel that an owner would get a better result with a price to tender than they would in an auction in the areas that I sell in. So that's what I basically have been telling everyone. That's just my opinion. I'm certainly not saying that, someone who's an auction agent will have their reasons why they feel auctions are good, but I definitely feel quite strongly about that. I sell houses, for mostly above the list price and in short time frames. So I feel the way that I sell works really well for the sellers. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit different, and sometimes, not everybody that's watching my sessions may be looking to sell or buy, but I just thought I wanted to talk about it because it was on everyone's question marks in this last week, so I thought it'd make for a good episode. So I hope you've all had a great week so far this week. I had a great week this week. It's been really exciting again. I'm looking forward to what's to come next week. Hope you all enjoyed the Commonwealth Games. That's been a bit of an experience. And this is Sarah Schultz with Sunday Sessions, and I will see you guys next week. This was episode 5, Auction or No Auction. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.